Hey guys, what's up? I'm Caleb,
I'm Max.
and here today we're doing the first ever episode of the Wenches and Wizards podcast.
Fuck yeah.
Woo!
Woo!
And, Max and I are pretty good friends, I would say. Well, we're acquaintances.
Yeah. We've seen each other in passing.
I guess. And I guess we, care about each other. Ew. Gross. Anyways.
I don't.
Damn, that's crazy. Damn, that's crazy. And so we're just starting a podcast. Both of us are pretty into various hobbies, like just general geek nerd shit.
Dungeons and Dragons, Warhammer,
anime,
video games,
brother. Lots of shit.
Cartoons, animation,
movies, film,
yeah.
Music.
We definitely have never gone to a Lord of the Rings marathon.
Definitely never have. We gotta make that an episode. What if the next time we just bring this and we podcast the entire 12 hours and people to watch the podcast just put on they start Lord of the Rings at the start of the podcast so they can hear us just
hit them with the back shots.
They can just go, hear me go, pussy got me, like whenever Sauron is just spinning Gandalf like a fucking madman. God, I love Lord of the Rings.
God, I thought we were going to get kicked out whenever you did that.
Dude, yeah. Us sitting next to each other in a movie theater is bad fucking news. It is a mistake.
I know the movies hate to see us coming.
They really do, brother. God damn. Yeah. What's it called? So, but I think we have some interesting perspectives. Another straight white guy with a podcast.
Exactly.
So Max balances that out.
Another bland person with boobs as well. Two people with boobs.
Bingo, yeah. I got great boobs. And we just kind of decided to start a pod. And we're recording on my couch.
We think people will hear us out.
Definitely, yeah. There's totally people listening to this. Yeah. So.
Yeah, hi, Dad.
Hi, Dad. God, I hope my dad doesn't listen to this. Well, he probably will if we get him to design the logo.
Yeah.
My dad's like a really dope artist. So.
My dad just loves me.
Gross. Actually, just kidding. Brad can do anything he wants, and I'll be like, yeah, real.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess what was your motivation for doing the pod, and what do you want the general vibe of the pod to be, Max?
I just wanted to yap with my pal, my homie, my good time boy.
My good time boy.
Just wanted to talk about our passions and interests and be funny about it, make $1 million profit.
$1 trillion. You heard it here, folks.
$1 million kajillion, perhaps.
$1 million kajillion. Bingo.
What are we?
I just wanted to Fortnite default dance on him. That's it. No.
You sure you didn't want to teabag on him?
No, definitely not, dude. Dude, that's gonna date us with how old we are. If we say teabagging, these kids.
Do people not teabag anymore?
No. Well, they do, but it's Fortnite default dance.
Yeah.
That's the new teabagging. I feel like a kid would know what teabagging is, but he'd be like, that's old people Halo stuff.
I still remember whenever Fortnite came out, though.
Dude, yeah, me too.
I was in college. And
yeah, we were, both in college.
Yeah, my ex had me downloaded on my poor MacBook.
Oh my gosh, it was running at 20 frames per second.
Trackpad.
Nuts.
Until I got a mouse for Christmas.
Dude, and he had you playing on PC. That was before the crossplay stuff was enabled, and just everybody was a massive sweat on Fortnite back then. Oh my god, dude.
And then the 8-year-olds came.
Fortnite. Yeah. Well, I mean, the 8-year-olds are the massive sweats nowadays.
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy.
That's why I don't play Fortnite anymore, because my ego cannot take getting absolutely stomped on by a child.
Interesting. You don't like getting stomped on?
No.
I wouldn't be able to tell that. What will we? So, okay. Fortnite. Nice. Yeah. Completely changed the generation.
Oh yeah, speaking of Fortnite, I thought it would be a...
What?
I don't know. We're still waiting for 8 minutes.
I don't know. What do you want to do?
Since we were on the topic of Fortnite, I was going to segue into what we were going to talk about.
I guess you could do that, Max. Gosh.
I'll leave right now.
You just hit me on the podcast. That's fucking crazy. You just decked me in the face, just like from
I'm
across the way.
sitting like 10 feet away from you.
Well, she's literally not sitting 10 feet away from me. She
literally sitting across the room.
Sitting across the fucking couch. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Bo.
But yeah, anyway, since we're on the topic of Fortnite, I thought a good segue would be to... No, that's not what I meant. Since we're on the topic of Fortnite, I thought a good way to introduce ourselves to our adoring legion of fans would be to talk about our top 5 favorite video games ever.
Damn. That's like a big deal list, too.
Is it?
Ever?
Maybe not ever, but...
Like right now, or...
I
mean, it's
whatever
5.
comes to our heads.
It's a hard fucking list to make, to be honest with you. But I get that. You already have yours cooking?
We both have pretty different tastes in games, but also very similar tastes.
I feel like we have very different tastes, but when we overlap, there's
a Venn diagram.
Yeah, it's bigger than you'd think it would be, but... Okay, well, shoot. What do you want to do? Like, start with honorary mentions first?
Yeah, there's some that would have made the list, but outside of just trying to think of the words. These would be in the top 5, but either the top 5 is better. These games are lacking qualities that exclude them from the top 5.
Fair. That's fair. Okay, you do an honorable mention. Yeah. I'll do one. What, like 3 or 4 honorable mentions?
I can think of 3.
Okay.
And for me, honorable mention 1 would be the Hades game. Super fun. I'm not normally into dungeon crawlers, but I was addicted to that game. I took a week off of work during a snow week. It was a snow week, so I had the opportunity to be like, oh, I'm not coming in the roads. I just played Hades the whole week.
That's crazy.
I'm not normally into the dungeon crawler genre, but it's so fun, and the combat is a great time. The character design is awesome. Like, all the characters are also hot. That helps.
My good friend Ren is, like, super into Hades.
I think one of the main reasons it's not in the top 5 is because I actually haven't finished it.
Dude, yeah, that shit is so hard.
I've gotten out of Hades. I don't think I've finished the story, though.
Really? Yeah, there's so much to that game because you replay it over and over and over again. Roguelike games are just so interesting, like, of a concept.
Yeah.
But that's fair. So that's a pretty good honorable mention.
What about you?
I think my first honorable mention will probably be, I guess, if you know what, it wasn't going to be this, but then you brought up roguelike games. For me, Slay the Spire. Have you ever played that?
That sounds familiar.
So it's sort of like Hades, except you are like fighting through a tower, but instead of like fast-paced combat where it's like top-down and twin-stick combat, instead it's a deck-building game.
Okay.
So,
is it like a card
game?
Gotcha.
So basically you like have these different characters and you build a deck of cards with like abilities in them as you go up the floors. And there's like Act 1, Act 2, Act 3. And if you make it all the way to the end of Act 3, you fight like a final boss. And you beat the game with that character.
Right.
If you finish Act 3.
Okay.
And it's pretty fun. I've only beaten the game with 2 of the characters so far.
I assume each character you win the game with awards you a different ending.
Yeah, the story is there. You just really have to dig for it. And it's like very interesting. But just the gameplay loop is really fun because like you have to like pick which room you're going to go to next, and you can like plan your route through because you get to see the whole floor's map at the beginning. But once you're on a path, like if the room doesn't branch to a next type of room, like you can't just jump to random rooms around. So it's kind of, you got to strategize and build your deck right, but also like pick which rooms to go to in a smart way. And it's pretty fun. Normally, I'm not a huge roguelike fan, just because I don't love replaying the same game over and over again. But with the procedural like randomness of Slay the Spire, I don't mind it because it's a card game.
I'm of a similar mindset. I don't like the roguelike because I don't like the repetition, but it takes a special game to do that without it becoming old really quickly.
Like monotonous. Yeah. I loved Hades. It's just I'm bad at that game, and so
you gotta find the right weapon.
You really do, and like the first couple of levels, after a while, got monotonous to me because I just wasn't good at the game. I'm sure I could like turn on cheats or whatever just to finish the story.
Right.
Okay. Next honorable mention.
Probably Dead by Daylight. I'm probably gonna get clowned for this. I was just complaining about repetition, but I've put so many hours into Dead by Daylight, but it's the company that makes it fun. I play it a lot with my best buddy Carver. I've known him since like first grade.
Oh yeah.
And I'm so sorry to say this. Actually, I'm not. He's the funniest person I know.
Wow.
He makes the game super enjoyable.
Damn, that's crazy.
Also, I think the online aspect of it kind of keeps it fresh, and you'll occasionally run into somebody playing as a killer who's really funny about it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that game is not for me, but I highly respect people who play it and enjoy it. Like, that's good for y'all. I thought the Matthew Mercer voicing Vecna like crossover they did with Dungeons and Dragons was
they had a Castlevania section just happen.
Oh, that's cool.
The killer's Dracula, and you can play as Alucard and
oh, hell yeah.
Trevor.
God's favorite twink.
Yes.
Yeah. For Alucard, not Trevor. Trevor isn't anything but a twink.
He's a twunk. No, he's a hunk.
Yeah, he's just a himbo.
He's just a slut.
He's just like big beefy boy with a whip. Pause. Play.
For those of you who can't see, Caleb just raised his eyebrows and made a face.
I just soy jack pointed at Max's.
But yeah, I guess the reason it's not in top 5 is because I actually enjoy like the experience of playing it with my buddy rather than the game itself.
Yeah, and like online games especially are so like chained to the player base. So if the people who play it aren't awesome people, it's like hard to have a good time.
Right.
So I get that. My second honorable mention would honestly probably be Uncharted 2.
I like the Uncharted series.
Oh my god, Uncharted 2. I remember playing that when I was younger. I didn't get it right when it came out because I didn't have the PS3 right away. But oh my gosh, dude, like the train sequence. Have you played Uncharted 2? You know, the train.
I didn't get to play a whole lot of video games. Yeah. The house I grew up in, video games weren't for girls. Yeah. I had a Nintendo where I could play like Nintendogs and My Horse and Me. And I could play like Endless Ocean and stuff. I got to play at my dad's house on the weekends and stuff, and I got to play the games I was actually interested in, but I didn't get to play a lot of the mainstream stuff.
That's fair. Uncharted 2, there's this whole massive sequence, and this came out back on PS3, so this is like before
big I haven't heard about the sequence.
Set piece, stuff happened a lot. The story's great, and the characters are really fun. And yeah, I just remember like playing that train sequence and losing my mind as a kid, just being like, "Oh my god, this is the best thing I've ever played in my life." It really did feel like I was playing like an Indiana Jones movie.
If I start talking about the games I got to play on the weekend, I'll have a million honorable mentions.
That's fair.
But the next one, I'm going to take a slightly different direction, is The Longing. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's a game. It's a very slow-paced game.
Okay.
Where you are a shade, and you serve a dying king. And
is this the one where time passes like in real time, basically?
Yeah, the game passes in real time. The king is going to rest for a year, basically asleep, comatose, whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
And you can sit there and wait, or you can pass the time.
What's the incentive for waiting?
The king will destroy the world because it's grown horrible. There's other endings you can do. You can kill yourself.
Fun. Yeah. Everyone loves that option.
You can find your way to the surface and discover that the world is not worth living, and you don't wake up the king, and you make it up there. That's the ending I wanted but didn't get.
Spoilers. Literally. Gosh. It's a joke.
Fair warning, on this podcast, we don't give a shit about spoiler warnings.
Well, we'll give some spoiler warnings. things. Okay?
Yeah,
We're talking
yeah.
about our favorite games. So.
I mean, it's the longing, like.
Yeah, you kind of know what you get into.
But you can also like explore the ruins of the underground you live in. You can like decorate his little room and like find books, and that actually makes the time go by faster.
Oh.
Which is why I didn't get the ending I wanted, because I made time flew by too fast, and my way out was made unavailable, so
Right.
I had to either kill myself or wake the king.
Nice. Hell yeah, brother.
I really enjoyed it, though. It was a game that made me very introspective. It was very enjoyable. It even frightened me a little bit at times, but I'm also a big flapping pussy, so everything scares me a little bit.
That's fair. What platform did you play that on? PC?
I played it on Switch, actually, but it is on Steam, too.
It's on Steam? I might have to check it out. I don't know. It seems really weird, but fun.
It is. I don't know if it'll be your style, but...
Yeah. I mean, I like slow burn stuff, so it could be.
It's not the most exciting game ever, but I really, really enjoyed it.
So, speaking of slow games, I would say one of my last honorable mentions. I'm torn between two, so I'm just going to be greedy and do both of them.
Then I'll get one more after you're done.
First one is going to be Infamous 2.
Really? That's
Cole McGrath on the PlayStation 3.
I would have thought that was going to be your number one.
No, not my number one.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been dethroned recently. Well, not recently.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you move stuff down the totem pole. I played it when I was a kid.
Favorites, are fluid. Yeah. They change over time. And sometimes.
That was my favorite for such a long time because when I got the PlayStation 3, when me and my dad got it, that's the game that came with our PlayStation. And, dude, it was so awesome, like, going from a PlayStation 2 and a Wii, like, the graphical fidelity of those two systems versus PlayStation 3 was, like, night and day. I remember, like, booting up the game and me and my dad just, like, staring at it for, like...
It looks like a movie.
Literally, like, for, like, 15 minutes. My dad's standing, like, 6 inches away from the TV, just, like, wow. Like, look at his head.
I think that's a cornerstone experience in most households, like, upgrading your gaming technology. And everybody, like, gathered, like, a foot away, like, wow.
Yeah.
It looks like real life. And it's, like, Spyro 2.
Yeah. And if you haven't played the Infamous series, Infamous 2 is...
I've thought about it.
Arguably, in my opinion, the best one.
I think it's regularly ranked on, like, top 100 lists.
Oh, yeah. It's just, it really lets you make choices. It's sort of an RPG. Yeah. It's not really, I don't know. There's a skill tree. A guided
RPG, perhaps?
It's like an action game, really, like third-person action game. But there's a skill tree, and you can make decisions that actually change the ending of the story. And back in, like, 2009 when that came out, that was pretty crazy for an action game to be doing that. And I just really enjoyed it. That was, like, one of the first times I played a game and made a choice. And I was like, oh, my God, wait, the choice I made, like, changes the game? Oh, I didn't even think that was a thing.
Very novel idea for the time.
Yeah, well, and when I was, like, 12? Like, yeah. So, definitely good. And then, for slow burn games, story-driven games, have you ever played Citizen Sleeper?
I don't even think I've heard of it.
Okay. It came out, I want to say 2022? 2021, and it's just this, like, really interesting indie game where and it goes on sale on Steam pretty regularly. But it's a super interesting indie game where basically you're playing like an android, like like sort of like a replicant from Blade Runner, and you wake up on like a
seen Blade Runner.
Oh my gosh. I'm gonna burn you at the stake, bro. That's crazy. How dare you?
I also haven't seen Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, but hot take. Pulp Fiction's okay. It's not, like, as good as...
We're gonna get canceled before we get famous.
It's whatever. Tarantino isn't my favorite, but I respect him as an artist.
I love his movies.
His movies are good. Pulp Fiction is like, meh, it's okay. Samuel L. Jackson carries that movie.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to Citizen Sleeper. So Citizen Sleeper is like you wake up on this like space station as an android, and you can pick different versions of an android. Like there's like you can pick like more of a mechanically focused android, like something that fixes stuff, or a soldier android, or like a medical android. I think it's medical. And basically you play through the game talking with people, and you have to make like checks, like you roll dice. But the whole
It
plot,
kind of sounds similar to Disco Elysium.
yeah, I've heard it's pretty similar to that, but
I don't think I'm smart enough to play Disco Elysium. I've given it a try.
Less like, you don't walk around. Like, it's just points on a map that you click on.
Mm-hmm.
There's not like any animation. Like, there's animation, but it's not like,
yeah,
it's not like fluid, or it's very like bird's eye view visual novel
right.
with some dice rolls.
Okay.
And but the whole driving factor is, since you're like away from the company or whatever, you are slowly degrading over.
Mm-hmm.
So after time passes, if you don't get like this special, I forget the exact mechanic, but basically you're trying to get in robot medicine, and if you go so long without the robot medicine, you start deteriorating, and your skill checks get worse and worse and worse, until you basically like doom spiral into death. Okay. So that's your motivation. Your motivation is to figure out a way to like survive. Sounds like
something I would enjoy. I'll have to check it out.
It's pretty good, and it usually goes on sale for like less than $10 on Steam.
Okay, yeah. But since you got two, I'll throw out one more.
Okay, fine.
I'm going to say, try to decide. Probably the first season of the Telltale Walking Dead.
Okay.
That was one of the first games I was able to complete, like, front to back. Mm-hmm. The ending shattered me.
So, fun fact, I never played that. I still don't know the ending.
I won't say anything then, but me being 12 years old, I was like, no, this game doesn't have a happy ending.
I figured, like, Walking Dead, like, everybody...
There's no happy endings in Walking Dead.
Everybody's on a chopping block, so...
Yeah, but...
I've seen clips, like...
It was a very different video game from what I'd been exposed to, because, you know, like at my mom's house, we had like a Wii and everything, and
right.
My brother was, you know, his favorite games, at least at the time, were like Far Cry and stuff, and then my divorced dad played a lot of like Call of Duty, Bulletstorm, Halo, very bro games, and then this was a little bit slower paced.
In the background.
Yeah. Not Creed.
Nickelback.
No, a lot of Soundgarden.
Okay, that's fair. That's lit. Those are great.
It was a very different gaming experience. It had a wonderful story. I liked the choice aspect.
Mm-hmm.
The art style is very classic too.
That's good.
But that's an honorable mention. I really liked that. It was a very formative gaming experience for me. But let's get into the actual rankings. What would you say 5 is for you?
For me, personally, I think 5 has got to be Fallout New Vegas.
Really?
And I know it's kind of shocking that it's that low on the list, but
I've actually never played a Fallout game for longer than like 5 minutes. I know I need to.
So, yeah, Fallout New Vegas is awesome.
I have trouble playing Bethesda games. They don't keep me hooked.
Well, yeah, I'd say Bethesda, since Skyrim, realistically Skyrim,
it's really their magnum opus.
If I'm being like nice about it, Fallout 4, it's just been downhill.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, basically since Skyrim, it's been downhill.
Yeah.
And I'm a Bethesda fanboy. Like, I've loved pretty much every. Yeah, like no, like actually, especially before they got bought out by Microsoft, but. Like, Fallout 4 was kind of a kick in the teeth. It was a fun game.
Starfield had such potential.
Dude, the first trailer I saw for Starfield, I was like, that's going to suck. And then...
I had hopes for it. I was holding out hope that it would...
Don't get me wrong. I had hope for it, too. But I was just like,
No Man's Sky started off so bullshit.
It just didn't look interesting. Like, there was no, like, hook. Like, oh, space magic. I'm like, bro... It's not 2010 anymore. Like, Mass Effect has been out for years. Like,
which I need to play.
Space magic is not a new thing. It's not a new idea. And it was like, yeah, you want to do space travel? There are so many games that do space travel better than that. Yeah. Like, and they're like, well, you can build a ship. I'm like,
there's so many games where you could do that.
Yeah, Kerbal, like if I want to do that, space engineers, literally space engineers. It's like super similar. Like
No Man's Sky.
It's even less like, what's the word? Bumpers on it. Like, you can just build whatever. It's like Minecraft, but in space, but with like better graphical fidelity. But anyways,
yeah, but
getting on a
New
tangent.
Vegas,
again, A
Or the
common
story's
theme.
really good, the combat's really good.
No, the combat's horrible.
No?
No.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's old Bethesda game. The combat is bad.
Okay.
For a Fallout game, it's like okay. But that you don't play it for the combat. You play it because it's fun.
Okay.
And
Just
the story.
yeah.
Okay. What's it called? But yeah, the story of that game is so good. I love the skills. I love Obsidian Entertainment took the IP for a little bit because basically the story of Fallout New Vegas is like the development of it is Fallout 3 came out and then Bethesda sorry. So Fallout 3 comes out 2008. I think it's 2008. I want to say 2008. And then or 2009. And then it like is super well received critically and commercially. So Bethesda's ZeniMax Software, who's like the owning company of the parent company of Bethesda at the time, was like, all right, we need to keep making more money. But all of Bethesda's developers were really busy working on Skyrim because this is before Skyrim came out. So Cinemax was like, "Hey,
my room to like Bethesda."
God no. And so ZeniMax Studios or software was like, "Yo, hey Obsidian, here's all of the assets from Fallout 3 and the engine and everything. Go nuts. Just do kind of whatever you want." And so Fallout New Vegas reuses a lot of the assets from Fallout 3, but also has some newer assets. Like they design their own stuff too.
Do they improve upon it?
They improved upon it slightly. Like you could actually aim down sights in that game and stuff. But for the most part, it's still very similar. But I will say, it's a point of contention in the Fallout community. It's always a huge debate, and it really like there's like definitely a line in the sand on people. It's like if they like Fallout 3 or they like Fallout New Vegas better. And I'll let you from this list infer which one I am. But Fallout New Vegas is really good and I appreciate it. And the way they let you do actual choices in that game. Just wonderful. And the companions, the different side quest storylines, the different endings of the game. Like there's so much stuff you can do in that game. So very, very fun.
Yeah. Well, along a similar vein, my number 5, I may get clowned a little bit for this. As of right now, this will probably most likely change in the future. I love Helldivers 2 so much.
It's so good.
The spirit, whenever it came out, was so fun. Everything felt right with the world. It's so easy to get caught up in it and play it for hours because it's just how mindlessly fun it is.
Yeah, and it somehow doesn't get boring.
It doesn't. Because every round, like, something new can happen.
Yeah.
And, like, it's very engaging, especially with calling in the...
stratagems?
Yes. Yeah, calling in the stratagems, like, typing them in on, like, the...
numpad, the keypad? Yep. Yeah.
Just good, mindless fun, great graphics, super fun gameplay. They recently just buffed all the weapons again, so you could just go in and
it feels like
explode everything.
I feel like it's, like, similar to at launch now, like... My problem with Helldivers was everybody's problem with Helldivers. It's a players versus environment game, but then they kept nerfing all of the...
I hope the hype comes back for it because it's so much more fun now. And it's literally on the list because of how fun it is.
Sorry, my phone's blowing up. So, yeah. No, I 100% agree. Helldivers 2 is awesome. I thought about putting it in my honorable mentions, but I figured you were going to talk about it, so.
I saw, like, clips and stuff whenever it was, like, really popular that they were, like, teasing, like, flying Terminids and, like, another race of enemy to go up against, like, you know, further in, like, the galaxy that you can explore.
Yeah,
it hasn't
the
happened yet.
Or whatever, right? Yeah, those are, like, the aliens. The, like, people aliens, not the bug aliens. Yeah.
Not those damn... bots.
Bots, yeah.
The clankers.
Yeah, you sent me that where it's like the guy in 30 years.
Listen here, clanker.
I was like, whoa, not the hard R clanker is crazy. I killed thousands of you back on the creek.
In the
It's
creek.
like, whoa, dude, nuts.
The trees were speaking binary.
Literally, dude, that's so badass. Good. Like, it's a great game, and I'm glad that developers are actually listening to people instead of like just being like, no, we know it's right. We.
And everybody was willing to wait hours to get into the game at launch because the servers weren't big enough. But they were still willing to wait. Yeah. I waited for hours. But
I bought that game the day it released. I didn't pre-order it because
I remember I came over for the Cyberpunk tabletop we were doing, and you were playing it, and I was like, "What is that? That looks so fun."
It was.
You let me play around, and it was so fun.
Yeah, it was insanely good at launch, and I was playing it before the servers got absolutely, because it came out like during the week. It didn't come out on a weekend, and so ramping up to the first weekend it was out, the servers just got absolutely.
I remember I got to do like one evening on it before the servers got like bent over.
Yeah. So I stopped playing it for like 2 weeks at launch because like I just wanted them to fix all the servers.
Right.
So.
All right. Number 4.
For me or for you?
I can do it.
I mean, yeah, why not? You got it.
Yeah, no, Shadow of the Colossus.
Fair.
Very good. It's
so good.
It's very good. The remaster looks great. Before I played it, had never played a game with like walking levels like that and like an all boss game. It's very creative. There's not a story out there quite like it.
I just can't believe that they actually released that on the PlayStation 2. Like the intensity.
It's been so long.
Like, how did they optimize that? Genuinely, like it's insane that
it was
they got
ahead
that
of its
to work.
Time.
Yeah, like and there were so many. There was a couple of Colossuses they had to cut because like the PS2 just couldn't handle.
And the
it.
Colossi are just so cool, and they're majestic. Each so unique. Yeah. It's a gorgeous game. It's got a very good story.
The music,
the music is wonderful. Perfect.
It's so like creepy but calming.
I want the soundtrack on vinyl. It's eerie.
Yeah, eerie is a really good way to put it. Yes, I agree. I remember we got that game for the PS3. Like my dad picked it up because the guy at the game store was really recommending it, and we bring it home. My dad could not figure out where to go, like the first Colossus, and neither could I because I was like 11, and there's no like tutorial. It's like one of those games where it just throws you in there. It's like, all right, figure it out, dumbass. And me and my dad could not figure it out for the life of us. And we returned it. Me and my dad were like, well, I guess we returned it because we don't know how to play it. And then I got it on PlayStation Plus, like whenever they would give free games away. And Shadow of the Colossus was one of it. And I was like 16. I was like, oh, this is how you play that game. So much fun, dude. So good.
Yeah.
All right. Number 4 for me is going to be, it's going to be The Witcher 3.
Okay. I've been recommended that game so much.
The Wild Hunt.
Yeah, I've been recommended that game so much. I need to play it.
It is good.
I've been too busy replaying my number 1 over and over and over again.
That's fair. For me, The Witcher 3 is everything I want in an RPG. It's a big world where your choices matter, and it's not like very obvious that your choices matter. Like you can just say something in passing and just like ruin a quest line on accident. But not ruin it, just like completely change the course of the game,
make
the
it more
story.
difficult or easier.
Yeah, or just like make a character not want to do something with you. And I'll go back and replay it, and there's just situations I get myself in where I don't even remember. Like I'm like, have I even experienced this before? Right. And I probably have like 600 hours in
it's been
Witcher
recommended
3.
to me so much. I know I need to play it.
And then the base game is just wonderful. And then on top of that, the DLC for that game is like a sequel, basically. Hearts of Stone and Blood and Wine are probably the best DLCs to ever come out for a game, period.
Yeah.
Other than my number 1, possibly. Possibly. And I'll get to that later, obviously. But, like, oh my god, dude. The DLC for that game is just great.
The combat looks really fun.
The combat is fun. There's tons of different. You can do magic build. You can do just pure combat build. You can do toxin builds, like with potions and alchemy and stuff. And there's like contracts for monster hunting. It's just like really well done.
Yeah.
CD Projekt Red killed it on that. So I The voice acting's awesome. The game is like fully voice acted, and it's an RPG. You can talk, like you can go inside of buildings a lot of the time. It's just good. It's just plain old good game, and they remastered it for free. Like if you already had the game, just boom. Oh, now it's like runs in 8K or whatever. It's ridiculous. Dude. Absolutely ridiculous. CD Projekt Red goated for that.
Yeah.
All right, what's your number?
Number 3.
Well, actually, no, you did 2.
Yeah.
I'll do 2.
Okay.
So,
okay.
Oh, like I'll just do 2 in a row. My number 3, fittingly with number 3.
I don't like the way you're looking at me.
Is gonna be Fallout 3. Okay, Bethesda people, Fallout fans, hear me out. I know I just pissed a bunch of people off. I either pissed a bunch of people off, or a bunch of people were like, "Yes, dude, yes." Validation. Fallout 3 is the best Fallout game. That's how I'm going to put it. The story is great. The just environmental storytelling of that game, wonderful.
I think that one is the one that
in DC
that an ex of mine had me play.
Yeah, it's great. Like you start in the vault and you're looking for your dad. It's such a good motivation for a character. And a lot of people don't like it because you're kind of shoehorned into your background being a vault dweller. But it's like, most Fallout games, at that point, you are a vault dweller to start with. And so Bethesda, when they picked up the IP, were like, yeah, we're going to start you as a vault dweller because like that's the tradition of the game. Obsidian Entertainment kind of broke that tradition with starting you as the courier in Fallout New Vegas. In the courier, it's a lot wider of a spectrum of type of character you could play as, like role play wise, because in your background, because like you're not just confined to a vault, you're not a vault dweller, so you could be anybody, and you're not a kid, like you can be any kind of age or whatever.
Right.
But in Fallout 3, it's like you're 18 when the game starts, and or not when the game starts. You're born when the game starts. You're literally it's the moment you're born, which is nuts. And just, the story in that game, wonderful. Like, destroyed Washington, D.C., like, the D.C. wasteland, so good. The soundtrack to that game, wonderful. Like, just the ambient soundtrack and the, like, GNR radio soundtrack. Great. Just, like, lots of cool choices you can make. A lot of
the soundtrack made it into the show, right? Or a good portion of it?
A good portion. A lot of those are, like, very...
the show. I know I need to watch the show.
The show is wonderful. The show was so good, like, it got my wife to, like, play Fallout New Vegas, which is crazy. But yeah, like Fallout 3, wonderful. I could gush about it all day. I love the environmental storytelling. I love like going through terminals and reading about pre-war things and putting things together. And I love finding just weird stuff randomly and stumbling upon just the exploration in that game. Great. You could just like walk around in that game and not do any of the story, and it's still interesting because like just the way you can explore that game, it's just so good. The map feels alive, and it's hilarious because the map is like a wasteland, but like it's this living, breathing world that you just run around in, and it's really cool.
Right. Well, I'm going to segue into my number 3.
Yeah.
I actually wrote a list before coming here. And at the time, I couldn't decide which one of this series. I wrote the Arkham series, but I've been mulling it over the last like 10 minutes. I think I'm going to say Arkham City. Okay. Arkham Asylum is really fun. It scares me though. Everything scares me.
That's fair.
Arkham Knight is amazing. Arkham Oranges is okay. Arkham City though is such a good experience. It's got a great story. I've always been a big fan of Batman from the time I was a kid. I've always been very into just like his story and the comics and like learning about the villains and stuff because Marvel has really good superheroes.
Batman.
Vengeance. But DC has some really, really interesting villains with really good stories. True. And there's so much like you can hang out with, or you can within the story of Arkham City, you get to see like the other heroes like Oracle and Robin and this, that, and the other. And you get to see
Catwoman in that game?
Yeah, you get to play as her in parts of the story.
Oh, that's cool.
Or I think back then you had to get on Xbox Live and get the DLC for it. I'm currently playing the remaster, and I think it's just included.
Yeah, they probably just baked it into the remaster.
But the story is so good. That was like the second game I ever played front to back, and like full completionist did it.
That's badass.
Fuck the Riddler trophies; those are so difficult. But the story's amazing. The combat's so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Batman's definitely not murdering anybody.
Definitely not. Like curb stomping, literally curb stomping.
Driving
henchmen and stuff. He's just like, get up, you're fine.
I've always hated driving elements in any game, especially, not especially, even in my number one, I don't like driving.
Mm-hmm.
But driving the Batmobile is super fun. There's not a bit of that game I don't enjoy, and I still go back and play it. It's delightful. It's got a great story.
All that being said, that's a game series I've literally never touched.
It's really fun.
I own a couple of them because I got them in like a Humble Bundle on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
I just like, Batman's cool.
You should give it a try.
Yeah, I'll give it a spin. I've just got so many games on my backlog. But yeah.
You've got like 300 games on your Steam.
We don't talk about it. Also, most of those are just like shovelware I got from Humble Bundles that I don't care about. I bought the Humble Bundle. It came with like 80 games, but it had like 10 games I cared about.
Right.
You know? It's a way to really like shout out Humble Bundle.
Mm-hmm.
Tie it. It's a great way to like look like a mega nerd to your friends on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
You have 376 games in your library. It's like, I really don't. Okay?
Is it really 376?
I think it's 360 something. I'm dead serious. But my favorites folder is probably like 100.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know.
You know.
And I've played probably 10% of that.
Mm-hmm.
No, just kidding. But, yeah. Like
I have a habit where I see a game I really want to play and I buy it and then I never touch it.
Literally me. She just like me for real. Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Your next one. I think it's 3 for you. Or 2.
No, it's 2. Yeah, because Fallout 3 was my 3.
Yeah.
Number 2, coming in hot at number 2, has got to be the one and only, my forever love, Minecraft.
Oh.
Minecraft is like the game
Minecraft is a great game.
Dude, like, I can always come back to that game and just have a fucking blast. And it's just like the best game to play with friends.
Mm-hmm.
It's so easy to set up and play with people. The mods for it, it's like endlessly replayable. It's like a million games.
Like you can either choose to follow the main objective, which is, if I'm not mistaken, like slay the Ender Dragon.
Yeah.
Like you can do that, but you can also have so much more fun doing literally anything else.
Just survival like that. It really, the voxel based gameplay, the gameplay loop of that game is so much fun. Just Minecraft.
The soundtrack is so good.
In the part about Minecraft, I love the soundtrack. Obviously, what I love about Minecraft is it is as fun as you want it to be, and you can have just as much fun playing it by yourself as you can with friends. And growing up, like, I was so interested in Minecraft, I begged my grandparents to buy it for me. This was back when you had to buy it on Minecraft.net.
I had the Pocket Edition, like on iPhone. That was like $20, which is like insane price for an iPhone game at the time.
And so I've been playing it since like beta point. The one where they added beds, which I think is point. The Minecraft nerds are going to be like, fake fan. I think it's point 5 or 0.8. I think 0.8 was the weather update, which I think beds were already in before that. But yeah,
it's come so far now too.
It's so much. It's like a different game, but it's still the same.
It's still the same. You could still come back to it, and that's Minecraft.
It's so good, and it'll always be there, and it's just so much fun. Yeah, I love building. I always build a tower, like a wizard tower. You know?
Wow, really?
Yeah, I know, right? It's
that
like, I'm so not original, but like, I will just farm stone bricks, build a tower as tall as I can build
Always end up building a horse farm. Can you believe that?
No way, chat. No way, chat. Are you serious, chat? Yeah. That's crazy, dude. But yeah, Minecraft. It's got to be my number 2.
My number 2 is
so versatile.
About as different as you can get.
Okay.
This is a game we'll probably end up talking about for 30 minutes. Ghost of Tsushima.
God, yeah. So good.
God, I remember we had a very long debate a couple years ago on why it should have won Game of the Year
2020. Yeah. I mean, dude, that was a stacked year, though.
I understand why it didn't, because The Last of Us 2, we're also probably going to get yelled at for not having either of those games in our top 5.
The Last of Us?
Mm-hmm.
It's good. I got Naughty Dog in my list.
I like the story. I can't put those in my list because I've never played them.
Really? Oh, yeah.
I watched, God, this is going to date me. I watched PewDiePie play the first one.
Yikes.
It was a phase, I promise.
Yeah.
And then I watched somebody else play the second one, like Burleezy or something, maybe.
Mm-hmm. I played the first one. I couldn't. I played
it
about. It
scares me.
I played.
It's a scary game.
The second Last of Us game I played until I got to like the subway area after the wolf like chases you into the subway, and there's like it's full of shamblers and clickers, and I was like, fuck this game, and I turned that shit off.
It's a scary game.
I was literally shaking.
I gave it an honest try.
Game. It was so terrifying. I'm like such a wuss when it comes to games
I did
like
try to play it. I gave it an honest try.
And I was playing it on like the
much.
easiest difficulty, like all of that, and I was just like shitting my pants.
It's very good.
And it was 2020.
It's very good at ambience and the environment. But anyway, Ghost of Tsushima.
That's the only game. Fun fact: the only game on PlayStation that I've ever platinumed, which is like you get all the trophies.
Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, the only one.
So good.
So good.
The story is perfect.
Baller.
No notes, no nothing.
Yeah. Wonderful.
The ending of that game had me crying so hard that my dad called me.
The choice you have to make at the end. Yeah. So that's a classic Sucker Punch move. So that game studio made Infamous.
Okay.
Sucker Punch made Infamous.
I gotta try Infamous.
Yeah, it's really good. I'm like whenever I played Ghost of Tsushima, my initial thoughts on it were, okay, this is good, but damn it, I wanted another Infamous game. And as I was playing it, I was like...
getting more attached.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
All the characters
This is really good.
All the characters are very layered and complex and easy to empathize with and understand. Even Khotun Khan.
Yeah.
Like, he's... Yeah. I love when a villain...
If you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, Khotun Khan is like
he's
the big
main,
bad evil guy, the BBEG.
Yeah.
He's a main antagonist.
Yeah,
really
he's a grandson of Genghis, if
something
I remember correctly, or a nephew. He's like directly related. But anyway, the story, no notes, perfect. I love all the side quests. I don't care that they're a bit repetitive. The combat is so fun that I can't complain about it.
I think they just designed the encounters so well with like each little outpost. Like, because there was always patrols. A very good... Yeah, the patrols were nice. And the standoff mechanic, it just makes you feel like a fucking samurai.
Yes.
It's so badass.
It's incredibly
You just cut
immersive.
a dude in half. And then, like, you can upgrade it over time to just, like, cut 5
and then you
dudes
can go
in half.
Ghost mode.
Yeah, dude.
Ghost
and people
mode
are
is so
terrified
addictive.
of you.
Like, they'll drop their weapons and run.
And you just stab them. God, yeah. That game is great. And Jin Sakai is such a, like, cool character.
He is. He's very good. His development is so fascinating and so justified, but you can also empathize with his uncle. God, what's his name?
Lord Shimura?
Yes.
I'm probably butchering that, but his uncle.
And the art style, it's got the realism that a lot of modern games have, but it's very stylized in a way that's just beautiful. The environment is gorgeous.
The wind mechanic.
Is just such a good way.
Blows in the direction you're supposed to go.
It's
genius.
It's such a good mechanic for guide points.
It's so diegetic too, because like you don't ever get taken. Like
all you have to do is scroll up on the touchpad. Yeah. It's so easy. And like, it's so subtle with that while being direct.
And the game, like that was a game where, especially the first time I played it, I was never looking at the map. I was just always like, all right, where's the wind taking me now? Like I would look at the map to like select the mission I wanted to go to.
Yeah, and then let the wind guide you.
Yeah, and that's a game where I want to ride the horse everywhere. I don't want to fast travel. Because in between
scenic.
It's so scenic.
It's amazing.
And there's so many random encounters you can have. And there, you could find a shrine. You can do this. It's like so many. A fox on the path.
I know,
and it
the
leads
foxes
you to
are so good. And you can like do bamboo strikes. You can duel the Ronin. Those are incredibly difficult, but so
there's
fun.
Something for everybody in that game. Like,
and
so good.
There's
and the multiplayer.
The multiplayer is so underrated.
Good. So
I wish more people played it.
For free, too.
Literally.
Like, the update came out, like, a month or two. Well, I think it was, like, October. Like, the game came out, like, what, May, June? And then October, they just like, oh, by the way, surprise, here's multiplayer.
Every time
you
I
can play
go
with your buddies. Horde mode, and there was like missions you could do.
Oh, and they got a Shadow of the Colossus skin, which I have and I love.
Yeah, I have that too. Yeah, I think that's like the first game me and you like actually played together like online.
Yeah, that was whenever we started like being actual friends and not being like friends through a mutual person.
Yeah. Badass.
The soundtrack is amazing. I cannot express enough how perfect the story is.
So good. If you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima,
please do yourself a favor.
Stop listening to this fucking podcast. Go buy that shit and play it. It's amazing. It's so good.
It's a perfect experience.
Sucker Punch is like, one of the best studios around right now. They are killing the game. That's your number 2.
I could go on for ages.
All right, since we're kind of been trading off.
Or is it
I already did.
One?
I did my number 2. My number 2 is Minecraft.
I know what your number.
You do your number 1. You first, because it's like we did 5, 4, 3.
Anybody who's even acquainted with me knows what my number 1 is going to be, because it's been my number 1 since like the first hour I played it. It is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Dude, you never shut up about that game. And it's so like ingrained
from
in
the
you.
Time that I got to play the beta where you're in the snow and everything, and everybody was making jokes about how you can leave like a trail of footprints to make a dick in the snow.
Yeah.
I was obsessed. I was hooked.
It was cool. I remember when that game was like, the hype coming out to it, because another Rockstar game after like fucking 10 years or some shit.
It's so painful being a Rockstar fan.
But it was like 2018. I'm hyperbolizing.
Yeah, but
it was like 5 years, but still, like, damn, it was good. The graphics
hold up really good.
On the fucking PlayStation 4. Like,
it looks amazing.
It looks so good.
Like, it looks perfect. The story's amazing. There's so much to it. I've been playing the game since release, and there's still things I'm finding that I haven't even seen on like YouTube or TikTok, like random encounters that I haven't found before. There's so much to it. You could play the game for like, I think around 60 hours before you even finish the story.
I believe that, because I've never finished the story.
Like, if you do only side quests, like obviously you can only do so many before it makes you move along in the main story.
Right.
And it's also a fantastic open world. There's always things happening around you. You can be out hunting and you'll see 2 bucks fighting, or you'll see a cougar like kill a deer. You can see like squirrels playing, or like a wolf mourning a dead wolf. There's always stuff happening. And there's so much detail in it. If you shoot a water trough, water will leak out to the point where the bullet hole is. You can follow NPCs around, and they have like set schedules. They like go to work. They'll like go to the bar. They'll go home. There's so much detail. There's so much to it. And the story is even more perfect than Ghost of Tsushima. Again, also, this is not us saying one game's better than the other. These are our favorites.
This is a subjective list. It's purely opinion here.
I am the biggest Red Dead Redemption meat rider of all time. I will live and die by this game.
Shocking. I loved Red Dead Redemption 2, and I was playing it. It was just too damn long for me.
Did you get past like the snow? Did you get out of Coulter?
I got out of the snow.
You know you can fast travel in the game.
I know you can. It's just like, and yeah, I like it. It's cool. Rockstar does some game design choices that I don't really vibe with, and shout out Nakey Jakey. If you haven't seen Nakey Jakey's video, he has this whole video essay where he talks about Rockstar's game design is outdated, and there's just some like stuff with the game like I wish you could be more creative with solutions, but like Rockstar really wants you to do exactly how they designed the game to do. So it's great, and yeah,
like the story is so good. Like you start out like you're playing cowboys, you're going on missions, you're stealing cows, you're getting in bar fights, and it's a great time. It's so good. It's a powerful story, and then there's the turning point where, if you don't want any spoilers, even though the game has been out for ages,
I don't even know the ending.
Oh,
like
okay.
That's the thing.
Never mind.
Well,
God.
It's like I know the thing that happens
you
or whatever.
Think Arthur's this big bad cowboy. You know, he'll kill a guy for looking at him wrong, and then he hits this turning point, and you find out he's not going down in a blaze of glory. Shout out Bon Jovi.
Bon Jovi, brother.
And
tickets to paradise.
The game gets a lot more meaningful while also being very bleak at the same time. It's very good at providing so many things at once.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
It's such a perfect game. I think I've got somewhere around 800 hours in the game.
Jeez, dude, that's crazy. Love that.
Every time I get a new game, I'm like, this is a great time, but I could be playing Red Dead 2. I'm literally getting a tattoo for it. I've wanted a tattoo for the games since it came out, and I have not changed my mind on it.
Mm. And leading up, we're probably going to wrap up soon, so I'll make it brief as possible. My number one has got to be Cyberpunk 2077.
Very different genre.
Very different. You'll notice I'm pretty sure everything except Minecraft in that I've mentioned so far is an RPG. Mm-hmm. So, I love tabletop RPGs. It's not, even if it wasn't open world, like just the RPG mechanics in that game, it's just wonderful. But yeah, Night City.
I just can't get into it because
You're bad at FPSs. It's okay.
Well, no, first person. Yeah, I can't do it. Mm-hmm. I can't do it.
You don't. You're not a first person.
I will live and die by third person.
And that's so fair. I think that's fair. I hope you can find like a third person mod for it or something. But yeah, Cyberpunk 2077, Night City is the most detailed, the most explorable, the most lived in feeling environment ever. And before we get too deep into it, I understand
it's immersive and authentic.
Yeah, but the launch, like, it wasn't what they promised. No. It wasn't what the marketing team cooked up. Like, but I played it at launch day, and that's basic. It's why I don't pre-order games anymore, because I pre-ordered it. But I didn't have that many bugs. I had some bugs, but I was running it on like a GTX like 20 or an RTX 2060. Like, when it came out, that was like not a great card at the time. Like, it was okay. It was mid-range. And like my processor was shit. But I was getting like, 30 to 60 frames pretty consistently. And yeah, it wasn't what they promised. But damn it,
I remember the memes.
CD Projekt Red really made it up to everybody.
No, it was a great comeback.
And oh my God, if you have not played that game since the 2.0 update, and even before that, the Edge Runners update, all of the updates, so good. The story is wonderful.
The Edge Runners show is really good.
The story is so good, Max. Like,
I know I need to try it.
You like Red Dead Redemption 2's story? I'm telling you, with the amount of like...
I know I need to give it another try.
And if you finish Cyberpunk, I'll finish Red Dead 2. I'll make that pact with you right now, and we'll have a special episode once we both do it. But
I just also don't think I'm smart enough to play it because you also have like the hacking.
You don't have to do that. It's wonderfully designed. You can. It's an RPG. They don't shoehorn you into a build at all. You can be just dumb and tough and beat the whole game like that.
That's
and there's no.
What I go for,
yeah, and that's fine.
Because I am dumb and tough in real life.
I'm
not even tough. I'm just dumb.
But yeah, I've replayed that game. I've played pretty much every build like possible before the 2.0
His entire
update.
PC setup is Cyberpunk themed. His gaming chair,
I do have the Secret Labs Cyberpunk gaming chair. I
think your mouse pad at some point. No, his
not
wallpaper.
My desktop wallpapers and stuff. It's just so good. And then it ties in so beautifully with the Cyberpunk role playing game, which I love so much.
That was a bunch of fun. I got to play with him. Caleb's a great DM.
I ran a game for some friends and stuff, and the Cyberpunk role-playing game, Cyberpunk Red. And Cyberpunk 2020 is cool, too, which I played a couple of times before Red came out. But Red was revitalized with... It came out alongside Cyberpunk 2077. So good.
The app for Cyberpunk Red is really good too.
The companion app, and that's just a guy. He's not. It's not like
just one guy just making it.
It's not an official thing from our Talsorian Games. It's like just a guy who made that.
I wish they had that kind of app for Dungeons and Dragons.
Well, Wizards of the Coast is gonna just rake you over the coals.
Yeah,
that's why
Hasbro and whatever.
Yeah, they if you use their IP, they just shut that shit down, bro. But yeah, so good. The story is amazing. The gameplay amazing. The environment, amazing. The music, amazing. The characters, amazing. I have a lot
of songs from the soundtrack of Cyberpunk.
The voice actors, the voice acting in that game. Oh my god,
it's incredibly immersive. I suck so hard at FPSs.
Yeah, that's so fair. The driving, like they fixed it. It feels good.
Also, the driving.
The motorcycles.
I don't like.
You
the
don't
driving.
have to. You can walk most places and fast travel. There's like bus passes.
Yeah.
Like you can take public transit. It's great. But yeah, we're getting to the hour point, so I think it's time to wrap it up.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we got a pretty good discussion on our top games, and I hope that gives you like our general
We'll probably segue
vibe.
from this discussion into our next episode.
Yeah, probably. I think our next episode will still be video games focused.
I know we're wanting to elaborate more on these games and what we'd like to see from sequels, and definitely we're wanting to discuss at length Ghost of Jotunheim.
Yeah, definitely. So keep an eye out for that in the future, but it's been real.
Mm-hmm.
I'm Caleb.
I'm Max.
And this has been
Wenches and Wizards. Hit the applause button.
Oh yeah, hold on.
We got
Dude, this soundboard is crazy. All right, bye guys.
Thanks.